Well, hello, party people, and welcome to Tea Talk Thursday. As you see, I am late, but I am late for a good reason. And if you follow me on Facebook, some of you probably know the reason I'm late. So today, someone very near and dear to me had surgery, and I was literally in fasting and praying mood until she was done. So I received the all well that now she's in recovery and we'll probably be moving to another room soon. So I said, okay, I can go live at 12:30 and we can really talk about all that's going on because when I tell you, my goodness, like it's so much happening that it was hard for me to keep up. So come on in, grab your tea. I just made mine. Literally, this is my first cup of the day, which is so unlike me, but it is what it is. But let's get started. So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Tamika. I'm the mouth of IG at Tamika Talks, and I'm the thought leader at Life and Pumps, where I bring you Tea Talk Thursday as an organic conversation. Oftentimes, you will find a guest here, or it's just me. We're catching up on current events, we're dishing our ideas, talking about what's happening, and always drinking tea while we're dishing the tea. Ha ha, get that? Yeah, I know. But let's chat. MLK weekend. Does anybody else feel like the year started and it's going by really fast? No, just me. Okay, I was not prepared. Not really not even thinking about it because I really have not written the date, and I don't know when the last time I wrote the date. But it is MLK weekend, and it's here. So what are you guys doing? And I know that normally, we're out, we're doing service face to face. This year is going to be extremely different, but that doesn't mean that we can't do things. It just means we have to do them a little differently. So part of the things that we've been doing is, we're purging these closets, which I feel like we are constantly in motion doing. Like I feel like it's never ending. And I'm very mindful of that. But we're purging, we're getting things ready for donation. I donated some things yesterday. I have a lot more that's going to be going out, appliances, you name it. And realizing that what happens is as an influencer, oftentimes I get added stuff to review. And while my intention, oftentimes when I'm done reviewing it, is to really just kind of give it away, it often doesn't happen. And at one point, I was watching the Hoarder Show and I was like, oh my God, I'm getting there. But I realized that for me, it's really not about hoarding. It's really about making certain that these items get into the hands of someone who can use them. Oftentimes, you don't want to use some of the organizations because you're afraid they're going to sell them. And the people who really need it, it's not going to get into their hands. Well, where I'm at right now is I kind of got to move from that mind frame. And that's the only way I'm going to really be able to get some order going on. So I encourage you to look for some of the various projects that are going to be going on for MLK Day and get involved. Here's some of the ones if you're looking for some. I have some ideas, and I'm actually going to be writing this up so that anyone who needs something will be able to find something. There are lots of organizations who are looking for reading captains. Basically they want you to do a reading to various organizations. It could be maybe you're reading to students, kids, whomever. And my understanding is what they're going to try to do is record some of these where they'll be able to show them later. So I do know that if you're interested in becoming a reading captain, you can reach out to Global Citizen 365. There's also going to be some virtual days presentations at Eastern State, which is funny, right? So Eastern State is a penitentiary. And what happens is in our area, they open for various things. Halloween, sometimes they have a holiday display where you can kind of go in and out. But now they are doing something online where they're going to commemorate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his letter from the Birmingham jail. So if you're interested in that, that is something you can participate in. I do know that they're still looking for readers, and I think you only have to be 7 or up. Then there's the Pillowcase Project. This is something that the Red Cross does. Basically, it's about teaching disaster preparedness for youth. Look that up. The Pillowcase Project, once again, is with the Red Cross. There was one that I thought was really cool that a lot of people might want to do. So the Jewish Relief Organization, they're looking for for volunteers who can help them pack boxes, food, and supplemental items. So if you're in an area where you're near one of the Jewish Relief centers, definitely reach out to them and see what you can do. They're also collecting stuffed animals. Now, this is a different one because what happens is oftentimes, we get those stuffed animals and we want to donate them to kids, but we can't just because, you really can't clean a stuffed animal. Well, this organization called Glad Dogs Nation is taking them. They're going to sanitize them, and it's going to be for homeless dogs and kids. So if you love animals, there you go. There's also several book drives. There's Cards of Care. There's also Share. So here in the Philadelphia area, Share has been getting overworked just because of the pandemic, people out of work and really in need of food. So they're always looking for people to help them stuff bags and all of that and get it to the people who need it. Habitat for Humanity is also looking for help. There's Full Abundance. So basically, in a nutshell, if you want to get out and do something, there's an opportunity for you to do it. So don't say, oh, because we're in the midst of the pandemic, there's no way for me to volunteer. Not true. There are lots of ways you can give back. And I encourage you to find a way and do that. Got it? Got it. All right. So what I want to ask you guys is anybody else waiting for a package that you ordered in December from USPS? Something that normally would probably take you 1, maybe 2 days. So I realized last week that something I had ordered to give as gifts never arrived. So I went to the website and I looked at my email and I said, well, maybe I didn't order it, is really what came to my mind. I was like, maybe I didn't order it. So I found the email with shipping confirmation and all of that. And of course, it's in purgatory. I don't know where it is. It was saying it was at a distribution center. Then one day it said it was coming. It basically, in a nutshell, it never arrived. So I reached out to the company and I said, hey, you're sending me all these emails asking me to review this product and all of that. And I'm wondering if you know that I've never received it. And one of their customer service persons responded and was kind of like, no, I didn't know. And I said, okay, well, what is the procedure? Because at this point, I just need a refund. I bought this for Christmas. Your website stated I would have it for Christmas. And I ordered very early in the month because I knew that something was going on. I feel like I ordered it right after Thanksgiving. I knew that, things weren't arriving, quickly. So I figured even if I didn't have it in time for Christmas, maybe I would have it that week between Christmas and New Year's. Well, today is the 14th and I still don't have it. So I said to them, I said, so what is the procedure? Because at this point, I just want a refund. So the representative stated, well, I can send you another one. Well, that kind of doesn't make sense that you would put another one in the mail when the first one didn't get here. So clearly there's something going on that maybe you all need to check the mail system. So unless you're sending it to me through another means, it doesn't make sense. And then I said, well, I've already bought the items that I needed because they were for Christmas. So I've already bought what I needed. And so now basically what they're telling me is that I can't get a refund, but they can put a claim for a lost package and it's going to take 2 weeks. So I want to know, what are your thoughts on that? Why am I being punished because all this is happening? And in the case of small businesses, I get it. You already pay, an astronomical fee to have items mailed and all of that. So I get it. So I do have something that I realized was coming from a small business. And I reached out to them and I said, hey, I understand what's going on, blah, 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 blah. But communication, guys, communication is key. Absolute key. And I did explain that to them. I said, I get it. Things are happening and I know you have trackers on all your products. You have to. So you've seen that there are products that have not been delivered. So it would be a good idea and good faith to just send a message just stating, I realize your package has not arrived. We're hoping that it will come. We will keep you updated as we get information. If it arrives, let us know. Whatever, something to not make me feel like that I need to go online and start searching, which is what happened in the case with this other company. So now I'm just kind of so I've already waited a little over a month for this to arrive. Now you want me to wait 2 more weeks to send me a refund or whatever even happens. I don't even know at that point. And I'm so do you think that's okay? As a customer, I need more. And I get it. The mail was not your fault. But at the point that now you see that it's an issue, you got to do something more. So I want to know what you guys are thinking. Sound off and let me know, because I feel like I'm not the only one dealing with this. And I realized the mail system was a mess. I have people and that I know, family members, people that I'm connected to, they basically have been telling me what was going on with the mail. That's why they were people that are ordering online, you need to order early, unless you're ordering it through a direct service, like Amazon or something to that effect. Mail is going to be just crazy. For instance, I have Christmas cards that I know did not arrive to people's houses yet. And I said, hey, it's a Christmas card, not a big deal. Nothing that they paid for, something that they were just getting because I was just decided this year I was going to send Christmas cards. Maybe it's my fault. Who knows? But I just feel like as a company, you should be a little bit more responsive. I'm not going to say the company name here, but I'm going to give them a day or so to really come on and kind of give me a better answer than, oh, we're just going to file a claim with USPS. We're not talking about like, a package that may have gotten stolen off my step, which never happens. We're talking about a package that got put in the mail. You've seen, because as long as we've been communicating, you've seen that the package is probably lost. Why are you penalizing me? Why are you penalizing me? And there was another company, one of my friends, she and I spoke about this, and basically the company was like, you know what? We don't know where it is. We're filing a claim, but we're just going to give you your refund. So I don't know. So how I'm feeling is they think I'm trying to get over on them, which is not a good feeling for me. So much so that I actually bought some of the items because they sell them at Nordstrom and they had some on sale. So I bought them. And in my mind, I'm like, I should return these because I don't know that I like your customer service. So let me know what you guys are thinking about that, and we'll figure out it. We'll figure out kind of the best move, and let me know what you think I should do. Should I continue to press for my refund? Should I wait? Tell me what you think. Inauguration. Well, it's coming. We're excited about it. Excited, and some of us are probably a little anxious. The good thing is, the Biden Kamala Harris team is realizing that a virtual inauguration is really the way to go. Besides the fact that, they don't want to have an event that becomes a super spreader event because COVID is still alive and kicking. They also recognize that people's safety is at risk. And while Secret Service is going to do everything they can to protect him and his family, they can't protect the millions of people that would want to be on the National Mall watching this event. So they've opted really in encouraging people to do a virtual event, so much so that his plan was to ride Amtrak to DC in preparation. And now they're like, no, you can't do that. And, state buildings in all of the battleground states have people on high alert. They're telling you, be mindful of your surroundings, all of that. And so many chain text messages have now been going out. So here's what I want to say. Let's put a pin in this. Here's what I want to say about these text messages that you guys are sending. I get it. It's probably all in, it's all in care and concern. But when you send a message that says, oh, I received this from my friend who's a police officer, if you know that that's not what really happened, delete that part. Stop sending the same message over and over again. And you're getting people who really aren't taking the time to think about what the message is heightened. They're like, oh my God, did you see this? So now they don't want their kids to go out. Everywhere they go, they're giving people the crazy eye. And I'm not saying we should not be on alert, but we should not be walking around fearful and afraid. So keep that in mind, guys, as you are sharing messages that you're going to be receiving, because I've literally gotten 5 today about the inauguration and all of that. Just be mindful of the source. And if it says deleting is something that is not related to you, delete it or say, hey, listen, this was forwarded to me. I just want to share it with you. I don't know if it's true. If it is, it is. If it's great, great. And because we have to think about the fact that, we are all angry at the president for sharing fake news, but we have no issue hitting forward on a text message or some type of chain message that we don't know anything about. So let's be mindful of that. I'm not saying that, we're spreading fake news to the extent that he is, but let's just think about that. All right, the impeachment. Oh, wait. So as far as the inaugurations, Airbnb literally have canceled all reservations for the DC area. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but at the point that Obama's inauguration was happening, Airbnb really dropped the ball on making certain that people could participate and get what was involved. So for this one, they really ramped things up. They reached out to so many of their owners in the area and were like, hey, let us know if you're going to put your property out, because we have this special marketing and promotion that they're doing. So they had all these things mapped out because they were really planning to make lots of money next week. And now they had to cancel it all because they realized that a lot of the people that are coming who planning to do damage aren't going to stay in a hotel. They're going to stay in an Airbnb. They're going to sleep in their car or something to that effect, because depending on what they're bringing with them, they can't take it into the hotel. And, just the transporting in elevators and all of that, it's going to be a little hard, and it's a lot easier to blend in when you stay in an Airbnb, because no one really knows if you're in an Airbnb or if you live there or whatever the case may be. You could be visiting the neighborhood. So there's a lot of things to that. And so kudos to Airbnb for recognizing that they did not want to be a carrier for any funny business. So if you had an Airbnb book, I'm sure it's already been canceled. The other thing is, this is happening because you guys know the no-fly list is being updated like by the minute. If you have not checked out the no-fly list on Twitter, look up that hashtag. I tell you, especially if you need a good laugh. Excuse me, no COVID there, guys, promise. Especially if you need a good laugh, because they are finding out that they're on this list as they get to the airport. And when I tell you, it is the funniest thing ever. It is so funny to see somebody crying, who was literally in the midst of that domestic terrorism. And they're like, but I love everybody. I love everybody. Why am I being penalized? Sure you do. Okay. Now you're getting it and you're like, you don't know what to do with yourself. Don't feel bad for you. All right. The impeachment. Woo. So your president has made history yet again. The only person in U.S. history to be impeached twice. Guys, get that, twice, because we know the House voted 232 to 197 to impeach him for incitement of insurrection after the siege on the Capitol. So, interestingly enough, right now there are 10 Republicans who have joined in support of this charge. Of course, we know what happened the last time. It passed the House, but did not pass the Senate. So now we're waiting for the Senate vote. My understanding is that vote is going to happen on January 19th. Which is crazy. No, wait, is it January 19th? So I believe that the discussion is gonna start on January 19th, and they probably won't have an official vote until the new president is already installed, which is crazy to see kind of like what happens with that. Because if they impeach him, right? Let's just say they impeach him, right? They vote to impeach him, which I don't know if they will or not. But he's not planning to come to the inauguration, which I've already been side-eyeing. He's going to be leaving. I honestly don't think he's going to stay in the U.S. I think he's going to try to go somewhere. So what happens if he flees the country, they decide to impeach him, and then at that point, everyone who's planning to press charges on him attempts to do that, but they can't find him? Like, what happens then? So there are a lot of steps that we have to think about what happens. Am I saying they shouldn't do it? Absolutely not. I'm saying that they should follow the letter of the law. What he did is impeachable, and he should be impeached. But we got to think about it, what the next steps are. And, you're hearing all the Republicans saying, well, there's not enough time. We can't do this in this amount of time. And then people are saying, well, normally you can't bring in a Supreme Justice in 8 days, but you did it anyway. So where there's a will, there's a way. So we'll see what happens. And I think that right now what's happening is a lot of the Republicans are up in arms because, what happened that day was literally like attempted murder. Like if you look at the videos, some of those people came there with malicious intent. And I learned yesterday that apparently, let me make sure that I get the person's name. I didn't write the person's name. But apparently some of the Republican members of Congress led leaders of these supremacy groups through the Capitol on a tour of the building. So that explains why some of them knew where to go and where to go so quickly, because I'm kind of like, well, how did they know where to go? Because literally, if you've never been to the Capitol building, when you get off the elevator, depending on like what their letter and room number is, determines which way you go. And they're all different. Like there's really no order to it. So when they were running and doing this and doing that, I was kind of like, well, how do they know where to go? Have they been there before? Well, apparently they have. Look at that. And so Representative Cori Bush has introduced a resolution on the House to investigate and expel these Republicans. So not only are they trying to impeach the president, now they're trying to get some of these Republican Congress people who basically, led these people through the Capitol to know where to go later on. When I tell you the story just keeps unfolding, I feel like every hour or so, there's more breaking news coming in. As I was literally coming in here with my cup of tea, so there's breaking news that the Attorney General has resigned. I'm not sure how true that is. And people are laughing and kind of like, well, why are people resigning at the 11th hour? And what I said is, I'm wondering if people are resigning because they realize that they have some fault in all the things that have occurred. And now as the investigations start and their names come up, maybe they're going to get fired. Maybe they're going to have charges pressed. Maybe they're thinking if they resign, the president will just issue a blank pardon for all of them. But he's already said he is not pardoning anybody if he can't pardon himself. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. I think it's going to be crazy hectic these last few days, but what can we do? So let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you think that they want to, they're forcing Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley's name are like the big names on on the list that they're saying needs to either be expelled or resign. So what do you think? Like when I saw the pictures of Ted Cruz, I was like, who is that? Like I recognized the voice, and then when they showed his name, I was like, oh, he's aged. So I feel like this process is stressing him out. I don't know if it's stressing him out for the good or for the bad, but it looks like, he got some mental activity going on in the game. There's no telling what's going to happen with that. But as I get more information, I will keep you posted. It was so funny to see that Nancy Pelosi wore the same suit that she wore the first time they did the impeachment for Trump. So I guess she figured it worked then. Let's see if it'll work again. Let's see what the Senate is going to do. Ironically, after January, whatever, the Democrats technically control the Senate. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as they get in there, the discussion. I did not get to watch the actual discussion that was happening with the vote and the impeachment because I was out. I had some things I needed to get taken care of. I did record it, and I do plan to watch it and try to catch whatever tidbits that I can. I love seeing the speeches where the people basically stood up and, in the clips that I saw, and they talked about why we're here again. We're not here again just because we don't like somebody or really out of hate. Like our lives were in jeopardy. Like I will never get those images out of my mind of the staffers who are laying on the floor, like trying to be as flat and as still as they can, and the look of fear on their faces. So I don't understand how anybody could vote against it. And they're saying, yes, what he did was wrong, but he shouldn't be impeached. So what should happen? I mean, he is the leader of the free world. Like, we're supposed to follow his lead. We cannot follow that lead. We cannot, I repeat one more time, not follow that lead. So I think it's just interesting to see what happens. And so next up, here's what I want to talk to you guys about, the vaccine. So we know these COVID numbers are still rising. And if you look at events that are happening on TV, you see why. People are just out hosting events and don't let the weather get nice. People want to go and party. They want to get together and they don't want to wear masks. I literally just saw a flyer for a party in Atlanta over MLK weekend. This is not the first one that I've seen. I mean, Atlanta has been having some crazy parties. I mean, I guess if COVID wasn't happening, it would be all good. But like literally, and then it's like you see the flyer, you hear about the party, and then days later you see all the people who've been there, and everyone is posting on Instagram. So social media is what's killing y'all, really, because people are posting it all over Instagram and Facebook and all that, and then you're just seeing where people are at these events, and there's tons of people all like crowded nearby and hanging out. They don't have on any masks, any of that, and it's a lot. It is an absolute lot. And if we really want to slow the spread, we got to do better. At this point, I don't think we will ever, well, I mean, not say ever. I don't think in this year we will return to a place where what we would consider normal, I guess. I am a full believer in that we will be wearing masks well into 2022. And here's why. Because the only way to really contain this is to follow the guidelines. And while those guidelines are so simple, there's so many people who refuse, and so many people who, are coming up with these reasons for why they won't do it. And then, you often find yourself in a battle where you're like, well, if you won't do this, well, what about this? And so I just want to talk to you guys very briefly about the vaccine. And I'll tell you part of the reason why this conversation came about. So, I have a sister who works in DC, she works for government. I have some other family members who work for the government. And so, of course, we're all on text thread. That's how we stay in contact with one another. And we're talking about the vaccine, like who's getting it, who signed up, what's the deal is, telling our parents to do it, talking about the numbers, just talking about really what we're seeing. Like literally it's how we catch up and check in with one another. So one person says, well, I don't know that I'm getting the vaccine. So, of course, my ears go up. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why don't you know? And what was stated to me was really alarming, is that they were told by a nurse that one of the vaccines alters your DNA. So I need you guys to just stop and think about what I just said. One of the vaccines alters your DNA. I need you guys to know that is not true. Repeat after me. Vaccines do not alter your DNA. Your DNA is like the blueprint, the map of your body. When you are born, you get your DNA. That's what makes you who you are. And how I described it to someone one day was that if it was truly an option to alter our DNA, we would all do it, because those of us who are battling diseases and things that we got, from birth, that are affecting that are, a product of whatever was going on in the genetic makeup of our body, we would change it. Think about criminals who are found guilty because of DNA evidence. You don't think that they would have altered their DNA so they didn't get found guilty? I mean, we got to think about it. And so while I realize that in the Black community, there is a lot of apprehension, and I applaud the doctors, the persons who are of minority who have gotten the vaccine, they're filming it, they're taking pictures of it, they're talking about how they're feeling, they're checking in to encourage people. But I still understand the reasoning why a lot of people won't do it. I get it. People are talking about Henrietta Lacks and the Tuskegee Project and all of that. I get it. I understand his history is what it is. And when you see the civil disarrest that's going on right now, I understand you are apprehensive. You're like, I don't know. I get it. And what I want to encourage you to do is talk to somebody that you trust. If you go to a doctor that you don't trust, you need another doctor. If you go to a church and you don't trust your pastor, you might need another pastor. So I want you to talk to somebody that you trust, that you feel has common sense and has an understanding. And if you talk to them and you're still unclear, there's a hotline you can call. You can call and talk to so many people about the vaccine and the breakdown. I mean, and realistically, you can go online and find out how a vaccine is made. So that's what we want to talk about. I want to talk to you about, just because you get this vaccine does not mean you won't have to wear a mask. The goal really is to slow it down. So the way the vaccines are made is that it won't track you. It's not like a tracker, like they put it in and they type something in and they're like, oh, look, this is where she is. It's not that. It's not Big Brother. It's none of that. Nobody is injecting any of that into you. Believe me, like that would just be crazy and insane. What it is what people are hearing is called mRNA, and it's messenger RNA. And the messenger, think about what a messenger does. It gives you a message. And so the mRNA signals your body to do something, right? So the way the vaccine is made, let me just, I wrote some notes because I want to make sure that I explain this to you the best way I can. So normally the way vaccines are made, let's go back. So this particular vaccine, what we have to understand is a lot of people were nervous because they felt like it was put together way too quickly. And so while it was fast track, so I don't want you to think that it was not, it was fast track. And part of the reason it was able to be fast track is because a lot of the components are components that have already been approved for use for other drugs or things of that nature. So oftentimes researchers want to find drugs that have already been approved because it's less work to getting it approved to the final step. How do I know this? You guys know I am very big on learning the research surrounding breast cancer. So this is no different for me. And so what happens is, in them building this vaccine, there's no way to really kill it all because it's made up of different, let's call them balls. Maybe that'll help you. It's made up of different little balls, different little circles, right? Put together on a link. So that is basically what this is, right? So they can't kill all of it. So what they did is they found, well, what is it that's making it so bad? Let's kill that. And so that's ideally what they did. Now, my understanding is called like the spike protein. And what it is what's been wreaking havoc on our bodies, on people's bodies when they're getting COVID. And so their goal was to figure out how to trump and kill the spike vaccine, right? And so think about it in terms of like with the flu shot. For me, this vaccine is no different. It's just that they're not calling it a shot. kind of like what we know the flu shot, but they're calling it a vaccine, right? And so the flu shot, that you can get the flu shot today and have the flu tomorrow, right? So that's why I don't want you to think that because you've gotten this shot, now you don't need to worry about wearing a mask and washing your hands and all that. You should still wash your hands, even if we're not in a pandemic, people. I just thought I should throw that out there. But basically what happens is with the way they've built this vaccine, so they inject this vaccine into your body and they kind of put it in something that your body will recognize and think is safe, right? And then as it breaks it down, it sees this thing and it's like, okay, I don't know what that is. And it causes your immune systems to build up, right? So as our immune systems build up, the vaccine is doing its thing, it's working. And at some point, mRNA dies, but your T cells maintain the memory of it. So that in the event that COVID does hit your body, your immune system and your body's response will say, wait a minute, I've seen this before. I'm supposed to do something when this happens. And it kills it. That's basically what a vaccine does in a nutshell, is it uses your own body to do what your body should naturally do. And I talk about this a lot of times with people who are dealing with cancer, because what happens is, they get this false hope or I don't want to call it a false hope because that sounds bad. They get this false idea that they don't have cancer anymore. I know it sounds great, and when you ring the bell and you're so excited, you're gonna go to any more treatments, you're gonna take any more pills, and you're gonna do all that. The reality is you technically still have cancer. It's just that the cancer has either already been killed and there's no evidence of it. There may be still cells in your body, but your immune system is building itself, repairing itself so that when it sees it, it kills it off. Or they're sleeping. I participated in a study and that's what they studied, dormant cells, cells that are sleeping, and they're trying to figure out, well, what triggers them to wake them up? What can we do to kill them while they're sleeping? So this is no different than that. And if you understand basically the science behind cancer works, there's no reason that you would not take this vaccination. So today we were talking about it in one of our cancer groups, and a young lady was like, well, I spoke with my doctor and my doctor said they don't want me to take it until they do more research on it. And I said, well, are you at a research hospital? Is your oncologist on the research team? Like, I'm uncertain on what it is they're looking for, because we already know that there's not enough data on it for anybody to do research on it. But we also know that as cancer patients, our immune systems are jacked. Hence the reason you will always see me doing something to boost my immune system. So I gave her a list of questions and I said, I want you to go and I want you to ask your oncologist these questions. And hopefully they can give you some answers that maybe you can come back and share with us. And when I get these answers, if I get them, I will share them with you guys. And I said to her, I said, I just want you to think about what that means. I understand, conspiracy theory, all that, people didn't like it and they were mad because they felt like, it was fast tracked and, there's not a lot of trust in the government. I get all of that. Absolutely. But science doesn't lie. And I don't know I don't know what research this doctor is waiting to get, because realistically, we're not going to have historical data on this for years, i.e. historical data. Much like with the flu shot. They know that you can get the flu shot today. There could be a total different variant that's out tomorrow and everybody get the flu. The goal is to have it not kill you. Will a lot of people get COVID still? Probably, yeah, because it's still in the air. We don't have enough people who are taking a great concern to slow it down. Like, even with the flu, like, think about it. People will get medicine, they'll sleep on their couch. They'll do all these things. And I don't know if it's because it's in shot form that people are nervous, but like, if you are a vaxxer, there's no reason for you not to get this vaccine. I get it. There are a lot of people who are anti-vaccine, and that's an issue that you've got to deal with. Like, I can't tell you, anything about that. That's your thing. I don't need to get into a huge debate with it. I am pro-vaccine. I believe that they save lives. I've seen it. I mean, I've gotten vaccines as a kid. I'm still here. I don't feel like I got an extra head growing out my ear, or do I? I don't know. Y'all see extra head? I don't know. But I just think that people need to make educated decisions. And that's all I'm asking that you do. No matter what you decide, make an educated decision. Talk with a physician and really talk with a researcher. If you can get your hands on a researcher, ask them lots of questions. So I have sent out some messages to some people that I know that are researchers to come on and really have a dialogue with me about it. Problem is, sometimes that could get them in some trouble. So I'm trying to figure out a way that I can do this and it not wreak havoc on anyone's livelihood or their job, but really enable people to ask questions without the burden or feeling ashamed that they didn't know the answer, if that makes sense to you. I think it's very important because I believe in this. You guys know I am all about the science, and I think that that is going to be one way that we slow this down. If everyone is trying to get back to quote unquote normal, whatever that's going to be, this is one way that's really going to help us get there. And it'll be very interesting to see what happens as this new administration rolls in, because big on the table is COVID. The number of deaths are like crazy. Like California, every time I'm watching it, you see where they're like, yeah, today this many thousand people died. We're shutting down the schools down. We're shutting this down. We're shutting that down. And then people get in a panic. Like, I don't know about in your area, but in my area, they were angry. Like, if you go on the Twitter page for the state of Pennsylvania, they're like calling the governor they're laying him out because he's making decisions to keep people safe. And people just don't care. They're like, I'm safe. I don't care. Why can't this be open? Why can't this happen? And, we opened a few weeks. Now, I don't even think it's been a few weeks at this point. Last week, I think it was. Yeah. So he opened right after the New Year because he knew people were going to be out doing what they were doing on New Year's. So he opened after the New Year's. And right after he opened, maybe like days later, we heard of a new variant in Pennsylvania. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people are so selfish and not thinking about the effect that this has on other people. It's all about them. Well, I want to go outside. I want to go outside too. Like yesterday, I went to an event at the museum. Really my first time kind of being in a place other than like a supermarket, that I didn't necessarily need to be in. It was refreshing. It was not crowded, and I love the way they were doing it. They have scanners for you to come in. They're asking you questions. They are taking precautions because they want to keep people safe. And they want people to be able to safely come in and enjoy their establishment. It was great to be out. It was great to put real clothes on. Lately, I've been feeling like over jeans and all of that. And while January is all about comfort, sometimes I just want to throw some clothes on and go. So I just think that when you think about what you're angry about for things being closed and how you can't do this and how you can't do that, think about globally what that means. Think about that small business who is struggling and might have to close down because people can't come there and eat. With that in mind, make sure you buy a gift card. Don't forget, Friday is Shop Black Friday. I am definitely shopping as many Black-owned businesses as I can find. I went into an area in downtown Philly yesterday, the day before yesterday. I don't know what day it was. My days are all running together. To look for these two businesses that I had been purchasing items from previously, and they've shut down. The guy told me at the mall area that, the rent is high there, and the leasing company basically gave them kind of like a buyout, like you can get out of your lease, at this month if nothing happens. And so, it made sense. No one was coming in there to buy anything. And I don't necessarily know that they really run like a big online thing. So I'm going to look out for them so I can try to support them. But like I said, Friday is always my Black Friday day where I'm out. If I'm buying anything, I want to make sure that I'm supporting a Black-owned business. I will share the business on Instagram. So make sure that you follow, and I'll share it on Facebook as well. Make sure you're following Instagram, Tamika Talks, Facebook. What is my Facebook? Life and Pumps. And with that, I want to remind you that on January 19th, there is a COVID memorial happening virtually. So now I am planning one in my area. We are probably most likely going to assemble at our township building. We're going to have some luminaries. I'm going to invite people. If you've lost someone to COVID, you can either write their name on the luminary, or you can write their name on a piece of paper and put it in the bag. We're going to light it. We'll say like 3 words. It is not a long event. We're going to ring a bell. And my understanding is across the country at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, everyone is going to ring a bell for those lives that have been lost due to COVID. There's going to be a huge ceremony around the Lincoln Memorial for this as well. If you want to participate, you absolutely can. It literally requires nothing. You can light a candle, ring a bell, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you need more details, definitely reach out to me. I do have some stuff that's going to be coming out. I'm just trying to finalize what I'm doing here in my area. So I'm waiting to hear back to make certain that, what I had in place could work. I will definitely let you know. Don't forget MLK Day this weekend. And I want to give a huge shout out to the sororities, because at this point, we had the AKAs. Happy Founders Day. Tomorrow's 15th, right? Yes, happy Founders Day to you. The Delta's Founders Day was yesterday. And of course, my lovely finest sorors of Zeta Phi Beta, we will be celebrating on Saturday. So happy Founders Day to all my sister Greeks and especially my sorors. I will check in with you guys next week. As always, you know where to find me. Instagram, Tamika Talks. Facebook, Life and Pumps. YouTube, Tamika Talks. I will see you guys later. Have a great week. Bye.